So just a few questions. Carol, as it's your event and Brian is the sponsor, tell us what's happening on June the 4th.
Oh my gosh. We have an amazing set of panelists, and Brian has been great with, he knows everybody. So he's been the person that's doing the outreach. And the key thing with this program is to really emphasize the power of education. And that's why it's called From Classroom to Commerce, because we know that education helps everybody in all ways. It helps the construction industry, helps with growing talent locally, of course. It helps with the firms that are doing design work and construction in the Valley and in the area. We know that economic power comes from the work that we do in design and construction. And so, it affects everybody. There's so many people that are involved in design and construction, and whether it's a classroom, whether it's a different kind of building, but the education is one of the key stones to producing the right kind of talent that we want in the Valley, and to bring those people in, and also to keep people, because if we have workers that have a good education system for their kids and their families, we know that that's attractive. We do that the same thing in any other city in Texas or nationally. Really, we have to make sure we support the families that come in to be the workers, right, for our projects. And then whether it's K-12 or higher education, and to keep people in the Valley and to grow just regionally the workforce.
And you've got quite a stellar lineup, if I can say that. Did Brian help you put that together?
Yes, he did indeed. He was the primary driver, like I said, because he knows everybody. The Institute for Leadership in Capital Projects, what we pride ourselves on is having a big tent. And we say we just want everybody coming in. So anybody that's involved in capital projects, whether it's from the finance side, the design side, the construct side, the operational side of things, like I said, there's so many people that touch this industry. And so we just invite everybody to come in. And Brian happens to know a lot of people in the Valley. I live in San Antonio, which is not that far, but in some ways it's many, many miles, right? And Texas is such a big state. You think about the differences between our regions, and the Rio Grande Valley and South Texas is its own special region. And it deserves somebody like Brian, who has lived and worked in that area and can help bring in people and help identify these panelists. And so I would like to ask Brian to, kind of throw him this little question here to talk about some of these panelists and speakers that we're going to be having.
Sure, Carol, I can do that. ER Architects has been involved in education industry, serving every school district, every higher education institution in this region. And we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. So we've been fortunate on one side to be providing facilities that match educational specifications or curriculum needs from higher ed to K through 12. So aside from that, on the flip side, on the economic side, I've also been a consultant and served as a consultant to regional economic development institutions, cities, and I've got to see firsthand how education institutions and municipal institutions work together to generate and educate and hire our workforce that is being produced out of our community colleges, as well as our high schools and our upper tier universities in this area. I was fortunate to serve as an advisory board member to TSTC, South Texas College, and at the University School of Business, and have seen firsthand the synergy that has been developing over the last 20 years between our industry, our economic development organizations, and our educational institutions. So I've actually never seen a panel like this assembled before. from the educational perspective as it relates to the connecting workforce to our industry. And so when Carol and I talked about what's next for us after the successful event we did in February with economic development, I thought, well, let's just tie economic development to education. And I know Dr. Bailey, I know Dr. Solis, we worked for them, and I know Dr. King at Region 1, as well as all of the other educational institutions here. So it was easy for me to make a phone call and or an email, and each of them quickly said, yes, we'll participate. We think this is an important conversation to talk about the programs, the best practices and the successes that have been going on over the last 20 years, specifically when UTRGV got here and made a presence here with UT Systems and in combining these two institutions in Brownsville, Harlingen, as well as in the Edinburgh area. So it was perfect. And then I'm fortunate that I get to moderate what I consider to be more of the Hidalgo County's focus on our educational institutions working with industry here. And then Susie Flores, who heads up and is on the leadership team of the McAllen Economic Corporation, agreed to moderate what I would consider the Cameron side with TSDC, TSC, and also South Texas Vocational Institute to hear their side. So we combined the region into one conversation over 2 hours. So it was just great building on the success we did in February and then the relationships that we built throughout the years. It was an easy yes from everybody to be part of this.
I think one of the things that I've noticed too with most or just about all of our events is that people are excited to be able to come together, especially the caliber of people that we have identified, that we have brought into this session, this luncheon program. They are like, oh, finally I get to have a conversation that's bigger than the bubble that I stay in all the time, right? And to also be able to engage in some Q&A with the audience and people that they engage with in other ways. And I know my background, I used to work for the University of Texas System as well as with the city of San Antonio. And one of the things that was sometimes difficult to do was to get out and talk to the community, get out and talk to the architects, the engineers, and contractors, and other constituents who are involved in our projects. And so it's just like, oh, can I get out of the can I get out of the office and talk to these people on a, without it being politicized or without it just having a normal conversation and to hear from other people. I think that's one of the great things about what we have going on next week.
Let me build on what Carol just said. So the target audience for ILNCP has been the architects, engineers, and contractors and subcontractors throughout the state. And the fact is that building on what Carol said is that they never get to be a part of a conversation like this. So the reaction we got from the event we did in February and them being exposed to all the economic development activities that are going on here to make such a prosperous region work, and now a chance for them to hear how education is tied into that same industry. The response has been great from people who say, yeah, I'd like to attend. How do I register? What do I need to do to be a part of that? So Carol's organization, combined with the local efforts who she's assembled here, is bringing important conversations to an industry that never gets to really be involved or engaged in these type of stories and programs and practices that are done throughout our region.
Well, as an observer, on the outside, writing about this and talking to folks, it just seems as though in the valley, maybe it's more peculiar down here, but the link between education and economic development is so strong. It seems like all the education leaders down here realize the importance. They come from our community here, and they've got a real vested interest in making sure the students leave school, leave college with the certifications to have a good career and a good quality of life. And so for me, observing this over the years, it's always seemed like our educators and our economic development leaders work so well together. And as you say, Brian, you've represented your company, you've worked with so many of these institutions. Would you say that was a fair comment?
Yes, it is a fair comment. It's interesting to watch the growth of the focus of workforce and education and meeting the demands of our region. One of the types of facilities that we're seeing more and more in the Valley is especially from our firm, is the design of career and technical education facilities that are tied to high school career programs, getting students ready for workforce in partnership with South Texas College or TSTC or TSC, and creating that synergy for these students to be able to come out and be ready for workforce. And so there haven't been a lot of career and technical education facilities in the region. Now we're involved in 4 of them right now in this region alone. And so we're going to see more and more of that. So that's just one example of the commitment that our institutions in this region are making with local industry. And then you tie it to higher education, it creates a nice synergy, an ecosystem of education industry working together. That's what we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years in this region, are those CATE facilities starting to spring up here. And I'm sure Carol has seen them, popping up all over the region. We've seen them in South Texas, but I'm sure they're happening everywhere. As a matter of fact, I heard a rumor that the governor made a mandate that he wanted all public sector and private sector institutions in the high school level to start building more and creating more CATE facilities.
Yeah.
So the Institute for Leadership and Capital Projects, I link up, we're 15 years old now, and I've been in the industry for over 40 years. And I can't remember a time when there has not been a urgent discussion about workforce development and getting people into our industry. Texas, we know, has just been on a growth climb over, several decades. And one of the things that, so we've been dealing with this issue for a long time, and I have seen more emphasis now being placed on, the technical college side of things, and even in the K-12 arena, and then moving up into, the higher education as well. And matter of fact, iLinkUp has a forum coming up in August called our Texas Public Owners Forum. And we have a session called Building the Bench. And we've invited Daniel Silva to be on our panel because I wanted to make sure we brought in the RGV area to be part of that discussion. Then we have other people as well on the panel, but it's so important.
From a personal point of view, I'm just so pleased that you mentioned him earlier, Brian. You got Danny King from Region 1. It gives us all an opportunity to learn more about this incredible new foundation he set up, the Possible Dream Foundation, where it's not just, say, 18 to 21-year-olds he's trying to bring back to school that may have fallen by the wayside. They didn't get their high school diploma, but all the way up to 50 years of age. And that foundation is going to have campuses in Farr, Brownsville, and Laredo. And it's got the blessing of the state leadership. In fact, it's been encouraged. It's got all the certifications and approvals of the TEA. And no doubt we're going to learn more about that at your forum.
He's a trailblazer. And I was so grateful that he would be representing K through 12 on our panel. I'm looking forward to seeing him, looking forward to hearing from him, to find out not only what he's doing with that particular program, but what the rest of K through 12 is doing throughout the region. So it's just exciting, the panelists that we put together. I mean, to open up with Dr. Bailey and Dr. Solis, I don't think they've ever been, back-to-back keynotes at an event before. But then to have, the institution representation of Ron Garza from UTRGV, Paul Rodriguez from South Texas College, and then on the Cameron side, the provost from TSTC, and the president's office from TSC, and then Daniel Silva will be representing South Texas Vocational Institute. But just to have those people along with Dr. King is just going to be amazing. I get to participate as a moderator for a panelist, but I'm looking forward to hearing what's going to be said over that 2-hour period.
Yeah, you're probably right there, Brian. I don't think they've appeared as they've both given keynote addresses at the same event. I've seen them together from time to time, but not at an event where they have to deliver. a speech on their vision. So that'd be fantastic.
Well, what's really great about these two back-to-back events that we've had over the last 4 months is that the purpose was to introduce ILNCP, Carol's organization, into the Rio Grande Valley and eventually build a local chapter here. And so the fact that we've had, for instance, at the last event, we never had the three individuals in a panel before, RGV Partnership, the COSTEP, and now Rioplex. And that was a big headline to have all three of them there at an event. Now we've got Dr. Solis and Dr. Bailey. It's just more awareness that we want to continue to create for this important institution that Carol has built through the last 15 years. And now to have a presence down here in the Valley is going to be really good.
Yeah, it's going to help you. Although the aim, really, the most important part about this is the discussion, the dialogue, the conversation. It's also going to help you build that chapter that you've been looking forward to.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Let's remind the viewers when and where, and does it cost anything to attend, etc.?
Yeah, so it's going to be June 4th. That's next Wednesday. So just 8 days away, or a week and a little bit. And we have registration. If you go to our event page, you can find that actually from our website, which is i-lincp.org. And you'll see the banner. You just click on that and we'll have all the details, all the presenters, speakers, panelists. Our sponsors are also well advertised on there. We do have some sponsorship positions still open. So if you're interested in that, you can register right online to do that. And yeah, there is a cost to attend. We got to pay for lunch, It's going to be at the Embassy Suites in McAllen. It's a very nice venue. That's where we had it last time. And we found them to be very easy to work with. And it's just a really nice venue. So yeah, and if you are a sponsor at a certain level, actually, I think we might have that filled, but we do a pre-lunch. So next time around, come in early as a high-level sponsor. You get a pre-lunch with all the presenters and panelists, and that's kind of a nice opportunity to be a little bit more one-on-one with those folks before the main lunch starts for everybody else.
And Steve, we thank you for being the media sponsor again.
Yes,
for
thank
this
you
event, and
so
appreciate it. Your organization, your news platform is probably the most important platform when it comes to economic development, economic prosperity, education, what's going on with cities, school districts, and higher institutions. And development. So it's a perfect platform for you to be involved with us, and we hope you continue to see what's ahead for us in these next events and next opportunities.
Oh, absolutely, Brian. We're honored to be part of this. We're honored that we get to be the media component of all this. I know how important this topic is. We really enjoy covering workforce development and economic development. So I'm guessing that if you are able to pull in the same sort of crowd as you did in the one in February, you're going to be very happy. Yeah.
Well, for a summer event, with summer kicking off right after Memorial Day weekend, we're going to be extremely happy if we can get close to the attendance level that we had back in February.
Well, I think that lineup, that should speak for itself. Let's see what we can all do.
We hope
really
so.
Appreciate this conversation, and looking forward to our next coverage of it.
And Steve, I want to just say one more thing, and that is like I said, I'm in San Antonio. We have chapters in Houston, San Antonio, and Austin right now, and then of course starting a chapter down the RGV with Brian's help. And one of the things I'll say is, as we have been talking about starting a chapter down here and all the activity going on, people are like, yeah, we've been thinking about starting an office down there. And yeah, that sounds really interesting. So, I mean, there's a lot of attention being paid right now because people see, and I've been reading through your publication as well, all the activity that's going down there, and why not, get some of that and be a part of the growth and the fabulous, wonderful, positive things that are happening in the RGV. And we all every region affects the overall wealth and prosperity of Texas and the United States for that matter. So, yeah.
I like the opportunity, Steve, that we get to connect, well, specifically San Antonio, but the San Antonio region with the Rio Grande Valley region, that was an important, that's what attracted me to want to work with ILNCP and Carol, was that opportunity to be able to connect both those communities and see where we go with it from a development standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I think it was only last week we covered an event down here, the automotive group, the Texas Mexico Automotive Supercluster Group, they call themselves. It's an arm of the Bexar County Commissioners Court. They came down here with for just that purpose, to strengthen the ties between the Valley and San Antonio. So I think you're onto something here.
Absolutely.
We hope so.
Right.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much. We
Thank
look
you,
forward
Steve.
to the event.